سلام أبرحون كاروان تركبوا خبرات عزبتنا نلوم معنتي فليز بلا بروجرام حيزنا لكم قررنا لنا نلوم معنت قدمتين بقى من اسي نيات أسفها هتكون مسناز هلونا علل بقانقا إنجليزية أخون أب وطعي توليدهم أب سدة توليدهم زعبي حواتنا بحانسا نمترنا في زاكل نلوم معنت مدبنا بإنجليش كنقبرو تعلم محتات وسينا لنا عيترحو. Welcome to Mayor Show. As I've already told you, today we've got a very special guest in our studio, and that's Niyat Asfaha, as I would like to call her. Niyat is a very dynamic spirit, person who chose to express herself in a variety creative ways, that I would like to call it. She's a very awesome poet and a very good friend of mine, but more importantly, she inspires me in a lot of ways, and one of the main reasons I've invited her today was to share the inspiration with you guys. Niyat, thank you so much. Thanks for making your time.
Thank you.
To come and visit us. Before we start talking about your poetry, your background, and everything else, I really want to say thank you very much for coming today. Thank you for making your time. I know you've got a lot of busy schedules, especially this month, your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And many more that we're going to talk about in details. But just for a short introduction, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Myself? I'm just me. Where to begin? I'm, as you said, a dynamic, creative being.
Yeah.
I enjoy freedom.
Yeah.
I enjoy being true to myself, and I think that's something that everyone has within them. So most times I'm very open,
yeah,
and a lot of energy.
Very much.
I'm a spoken word artist, poet. Yeah. That's my foundation, but I also am a photographer and budding videographer. Just a lot of creativity, really.
Amazing, yeah.
But mostly with my words. I love music. I'm quite my nature, similarly to yourself, we like to help people. So, I've somewhat evolved into a community
role model.
I wouldn't say that, but
yes, I'll say that. And I've got a million reasons to say that, but yeah.
But I like to help the community, and do my bit to help society.
Amazing. So we've been talking for a while now, we will be talking a lot about but maybe I should ask you, what do you think? What does it mean to be born and raised in London?
Okay.
When you're Eritrean origin?
Yeah, that's a very big question.
Take us through the journey.
Yeah. Okay. So as you said, I was born here in London and born in Hammersmith, raised in northwest London. It is a journey, to be honest. I think it's very subjective depending on the individual's nature. Like with their characteristics, if they're a confident individual, if they're a shy person. I was, unfortunately, looking back, it's okay, but at the time I was very shy.
Oh. So
my security levels were very low. So growing up Eritrean in London, if you're not secure in your identity, it can be a very big, not a setback, but you really don't know who you are. So how do you maneuver in a land where no one really knows who you are, and everyone, others are a bit more confident as to who they are. Yeah. So it was a bit of a self-learning journey from a young age. It's more of, again, depends on the individuals, but from my perspective, it was a struggle to be honest, because in London, looking like us, you're automatically seen as maybe Somalian, and in the black community, that was seen as quite a negative. Yeah. So if you're not strong in your culture, you'll fall into that. I don't want to be like that. Yeah. So you'll naturally detach from who you are. So there comes a point where you're so distant from your own people or your own identity that you become lost. And unless you reel it back in and love yourself the truest way and love your culture, that's the only way you can find your way through London. Otherwise, you could get lost, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Because one of the main reasons that I really want to ask you that question was the term identity is a very vast subject. And, I mean, in diaspora, we've got people that came from Eritrea and they are late years age. And we've got people that came when they were in middle age. And we've got people that were born and raised here in London. But this question really matters to each and everyone. If you ask me, I'll tell you my first year was a little bit of, oh my God, where do I belong? Even though I grew up in Eritrea with all the cultures. And I remember you had a very inspiring poem about this that you'll be reading for us. So dear viewers, please stay tuned. We'll be back after the short poem.
No, she can't be. She must be mixed. Look at her hair. Those awkward stares, acting as if I was unaware, but I could see the process. Eliminating countries from various continents, assigning me to nationalities that could justify my slender nose, the length of my hair, the complexion I wear. Playing on my insecurities and secluding me to an island filled of rejects and hybrids because I couldn't possibly be pure like them. My ancestors must have been of a different shade to them, speak different tongues from subordinate cultures for this image to make sense. Curious and judgmental. Opinions fixed with their apparent factual deductions, and I, nor proud or bold enough to shed light on the matter. Bearing in mind, this is all mental chatter. Who knows? They could just be staring aimlessly. An endless list of possibilities to the feeble mind, lost without pride, no identity in sight. It didn't matter that I came from a strong bloodline. Too ignorant of this truth as I distanced myself, believing my own lies. Foolish, I guess, but we all walk a similar path to reach a secure sense of self. Ignorance and distance and imitating others is norm. But how far must we walk till we yearn for belonging? How much must we mentally endure? Her parents should have taught her better. How could she not know who she is? Born in a foreign land, with no man outside of your family bearing your face. Where do you truly belong if you were born during a time when your country is stripped of its name? Identity. Knowing thyself is a confusing game, ever-changing, evolving as intent morphs. One day you're so secure in the image you've built of yourself. Then you crumble under the weight of your own scrutiny, closely examining that you never truly knew your own ancestry. Fighting to fit in, desperately finding ways to connect, discovering similarities with cultures so far from your own. Anything too similar would be shameful. There's no pride in where I came from. How? How could the pressures of society inflict such torment inside of me? How could I gladly deny my family tree when my people are known of such beauty, with roots deeply intertwined in history? How? Maybe this is all just my own weak insecurities. Maybe I'm the only one who imposes such madness within me. Or maybe we all battle with this culture clash, having to adapt, never really knowing how to stand tall individually without a noticeable collective, when all fall so obviously in line with their pride, pack or tribe. A form of isolation. In fact, I've been subjected to lesser forms of racism by brothers and sisters noticeably darker than I. With origins from lands known by Europeans or the common man, you're not black. Was never bold or educated enough to tackle this. Responding now with, neither are you. A colour can't embody a timeless people, traditions and rituals more ancient than Hebrew. Why are our minds so feeble? The root of self-hatred, it's evil. Begging acceptance from communities that should welcome us. Segregated, isolated, ostracised instead of celebrated. Granted, I never had any involvement in the debate of plantain or planting. Does that make my father less of a black man or an African? Shallow minds can't comprehend the superficial divisions inflicted and perpetuated by proud men. Rooted by what? Maybe slavery, maybe jealousy, maybe ignorance, maybe neo-colonialism. Maybe the image of Africa force-fed to first-generation Africans in Britain dictated a universal face to brand a continent that births all shades. It's simply insane to think my origin is questioned because I don't fit in a white supremacist's ideology of what an African should look like. What features I should exemplify, what traditions I should practice. No wonder why this internal conflict can lead to madness, as if others have the answer of an African personified. Time for us to unify. The diaspora need to wear African attire or cloth with pride. Have Africa in mind. Seek the elders that will pass the baton to aid us in strengthening our motherland ties. No longer believing in the lies that you are an eternal outsider, forever subjected to looking in from all angles. Letting go of the notion that we are homeless, that we don't belong here nor there. Once secure, wherever you are, you will find home. You will know who you are.
We're back now. We'll be talking about a lot with Niyat today. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
I want to take you back to sometime Area TV project.
Okay.
I know you've done something, and so tell me, first time you visit Eritrea, how was the experience? When was it? And about the project a little bit.
Brilliant. First time. This is very nostalgic. So I think I must have been about 9 years old, 1996.
Wow.
So it was a nice time. Went with my whole immediate family and one of my cousins / uncle and other cousins as well. So it was like a lot of us there.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. My grandma already had a house there. We went to the village, our villages, like we saw Adi, like it was just beautiful. And it was at a time when, obviously independence was 5 years previous, and it was a very joyful time. It was just a lot of good energy.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. And then we went again a decade later, and it was brilliant. But the time when I went, when I was blessed enough for the Area TV project, that was in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Either late 2008 or early 2009.
Yeah.
That was a really good experience.
Yeah.
Asfaha is such a beautiful city, and it's small enough for you to know everyone if you've got like a bubbly characteristic.
Because you've almost taken like half of my friends. I was taken on Facebook. I was wondering, like, this guy didn't even grow up so much to know half of my friends. We're going to talk about that offline.
Okay.
So what were you doing for Area TV? What was the project about?
Okay, it was just a random. So I met this a friend named Awat who used to work in Area TV, also Ministry of Information, I think it's called.
Okay.
And because I was just a ball of energy, and I would speak to everyone in Eritrea, like literally everyone. And then I met him, and then he was like, "Oh, you do poetry? Let me hear some of your work." And then I would bring out my work. I used to bring my book everywhere, my poetry books. And then they were like, "Yeah, we got to get you on Area TV." So it was just an opportunity to speak. The team was amazing. I'd done a poem called Eri Pride, which I actually wrote when I was out there in Eritrea. And it starts off by paying homage and respect to all our strong women. Yeah. And then it goes into the culture. And it was a beautiful experience. And they've done a really good job by putting in the background visuals, and it will show like our culture and our people.
Beautiful.
Yeah, overcoming things in our day-to-day lives. And it was a really, really humbling experience, but very exciting as well. Because I think it was my first time on TV just generally.
Wow.
And off the back of that, I was able to, as you
Yeah.
So well put.
Yeah.
Gained a lot of friends.
Yes.
So I gained international friends and friends in
Amazing.
America, friends and whatnot. And I truly do call them friends, even though I've never met them.
Yeah.
But something resonated with that poem. Because as we spoke about identity, I think a lot of people could relate and could feel the pride.
Yeah.
So it was a really nice experience.
I can imagine. Yeah, brilliant. So I think this was around your college time.
It was university.
So
So
you were at uni that time.
Well, the whole reason why I went to Eritrea, I spent 4 months out there. I was studying psychology at Brunel.
Okay.
And then I had to drop out for health reasons. And then when I got better, my dad was like, right, we have to go back home.
Yeah.
And so he was there with me for a month, and then he went, because he has work. Even a month is a long time to take, but we Eritreans do that. So yeah, and then he left me out. Not left me, I had my grandma, I had my friends, so I was there for another 3 months. So it was more of a soul searching. This was the time when I was waking up, so I was 20, I spent my 21st birthday in Eritrea.
Because the main reason I asked this question was, I want you to take me back to Woodhouse College.
Oh, Woodhouse! Oh gosh, yeah.
And I think that's where you got your nickname, Remedy.
Ah, okay. Well, do you know what? It's actually a funny story.
Tell us more, because when I was reading, going through your Facebook profile, I was like, well, Niyat is Niyat Asfaha. Where did this Remedy come from? So I want to listen from you.
Okay, so Remedy actually came. It was secondary school, so it was. I went to a school in Halsden.
And the main thing I chose this is because there's a message behind it.
Okay, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I love it. Sure,
so, like you said, my name's Niyat Asfaha, but my actual tag name, Remedy. So, okay. I have to paint the picture because I don't want people to think that I'm something that I'm not. Because the school was in Halsden, and Halsden's a very, you survive in Halsden, but it's also a very loving community and culture. But you learn a lot of things. And I was in a class, the top level class with my friends. We were very academic. But at the same time, you're in Halsden, so you want to be cool. So we had like a
you're out of the game.
Yeah, basically, you know. But I was the sweet, shy one, so I wasn't really in the game. But, you know, you dream. And then, so we all had names for each other. And the name Remedy came because my older brother, he used to record garage and grime on pirate radio stations. Just record it and listen back to it. Okay. And I used to go into his room and listen to music. And I took one of his cassettes back in the day with the cassettes.
Yeah, a big thing.
And play it, and it had Remedy on it. And I was like, this is a cool name. And because within our group of friends, I was the person that people would come and speak to or get advice from, because I like to listen. Yeah. So it just fit. So yeah, Remedy came from there, and it's kind of stuck. But Niyat is my name, but Remedy is also there. Yeah.
I love it. That's why, because that resonates. You know what the reason why you do your pottery, and you know when you connect with people, everyone that I met, even when I told them that I was interviewing you, everybody was telling me, "Oh my God, you're gonna have a great time with Niyat because she's full of positive energy," and I can see why they nickname you as in Remedy. Yeah. You know, so hence why I wanted to highlight it. We'll be taking a short break. And after the break, we'll be talking about what the main reason inspires you to write poetry. Dear viewers, please stay tuned. We're back after a short break. So Niyat, before we actually go in depth talking about poetry and all your journey, I'd like to take you back a little bit back to middle school, elementary school, and high school. So take me through the journey. You know, as you know, I just came to England recently, and I'm quite not familiar. But you know, there's a lot of people that have children, and maybe they're not familiar with the schooling system. So take us a little bit back, the journey.
Okay, so so first kind of school establishment would have been my play school.
Yeah.
So it's prior to primary school rather. So I would have been maybe under 4 years old, going to a play group just to get into contact with other children other than my siblings, even though they were there as well. Yeah. But and then then went to primary school from reception to year 6. I must have been about 4 to 11. Yeah. it's just a tie into identity. The primary school that I went to, my family was the first Eritreans ever. So my brother, my brother who's just a bit older than me, about 3 years older than me.
Incredible.
Yeah, 3 years. He was the very first Eritrean to step foot.
And this is in Hammersmith?
No, in Easton.
Okay.
Easton, yeah. Okay. He was the very first Eritrean to step foot into that. Wow. And then I came. And then my baby sister came. And then the other baby sister came. So we were like bringing East Africa flavour to the
table.
School. Yeah, to the school.
Beautiful.
So, and that's another thing with identity, because no one knew of us.
Yeah.
If you didn't know yourself,
no
one really knows anything. So, you know. And then when we went to secondary school, from 11 years old to about 16, that's when I actually met Eritreans in school. And it kind of grew from there.
First time?
Yeah.
At school?
Yeah, at school. Other Eritreans other than my family. Yeah. And then after secondary school, I went to college. I didn't go to the sixth form, because my secondary school in Halston, it had a sixth form. Okay. But I wanted a change. That's when I went to Woodhouse, as you said. Okay. So I went to Woodhouse in North London, and that's when I saw a whole new world of people. And that was a really good experience. A very big jump. Well, not so much big, but it was a lot more freedom. So you have to be a lot more focused.
A little bit farther from the house as well?
Oh, it was further, yeah. It was a lot further. It was like a passport further. It was so far. Yeah. And then after that I went to Brunel University in Uxbridge, which isn't that far compared to other friends that would go to Nottingham or whatnot. So,
do you used to write poetry at those stages? When did you start when was the first time you actually knew that you're actually a poet?
Oh.
When did you start writing poetry?
Yeah, knowing was different to just doing, but I used to write from the age of 6. I would write, and a lot of my family, I would write stories for them and give it to them as gifts, and write massive and draw as well with it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was sweet, because I was very shy. Literally, I wouldn't speak. I could speak with my family, but I wasn't as comfortable or confident. So I found my voice through my pen. So I would write a lot. I would write poems, songs, prayers, short stories. It's quite embarrassing now. It's cool. I feel comfortable. I had this song folder, song files. Wow. So I would write songs. This is primary school, so I must have been from maybe collecting. I used to collect everything. Wow. So hoarders, I would hoard my writing. So if I write, I'll just put the date on it.
Amazing.
And leave it somewhere. And I would encourage that for any young writers.
That's brilliant.
And I had a song file from the whole of primary school, from maybe the age of 6 to like 11. And so, poetry's like songs. So and then knowing I was a poet, I think that was after I dropped out from university, and when I like regained myself. That's when I thought it's bigger than me. Like I feel like it's a bigger source than myself. Like God is telling me you need to do this. It's therapeutic for yourself, but you can help others. So I think
talking about regaining yourself. And my favourite poet of yours is Felix. I remember when I was reading through it, I was on the stage of my life where I really knew that this is not where I want to be. And this is why I always say it have been an inspiration to a lot of things that I do in my life. Thanks to you. But more importantly, I want to speak about at what stage of your life were you when you actually wrote Phoenix, and tell us about the meaning behind it.
Okay, so Phoenix, I think I wrote that at some point in 2013. And it was throughout my adult life, maybe from 16 to even recently, I've had moments where I've had to really detach myself from the world, and whatever's going on inside, I kind of break down, and then I have to rise again like a phoenix through the ashes of myself. So it's happened several times in life. It happened to a lot of people, really. And I think that came from it was quite a bad place that I was in, so many reasons, but what came out of it was a stronger sense of self, and it was literally taking away everything, all the pain and all the suffering, and just believing that it's hopeful. It's like testify, like I can do. I know there's a reason for this. And I'm gonna make sure this time round, because there's so many in life. We have so many tests and struggles, but this time round I'm gonna
make it and make it very, very different.
Exactly. I love the quote.
Yes, because it's really spoke to me in a lot of ways. I did mention the time I was going through, and I really want to share this with our viewers, and you've been kind enough to share it with us. So, dear viewers, Niyat will be talking about Phoenix It's about low depression and manic high of lives, and mental health included. It's all about rebuilding of a self. For more, stay tuned.
Pressing soft lips to the cold tip of a gun, she adds up the pros, closes eyes, then presses. The silence is deafening, as the money-hungry con sold her a faulty piece. An intended clear mind now left questioning questions. Staring at the Lord's twinkling eyes, she finds a desire to scream. For relief? No. As pieces of her soul yearn to rest, she's tired of lying eyes wide, closed mind on a blanket of regrets. Smidgens of her soul trapped in memories replayed over and over again. She's tried. But countless failures keep her feeling comforted by depression, closed to the present. Hours have been spent and lost altering past not-so-learned lessons. She's mastered this. Somewhat a mindful secret profession, she hides this life like a concealed priceless possession, precisely pinpointing past moments, expanding on the possibilities. Opening imaginary realms, simultaneously closing doors to her destiny. For journeying through romantic dimensions rarely results in returning to reality. She's been gone for so long. Everything feels disingenuous. No longer comfortable in her own presence, she seeks solace in these therapeutic, pitiful fantasies. Dreams that whisk her away from the sheer agony. But she's so beautiful and so young. Staring down the barrel of a useless gun, forcing herself to reevaluate, she paces. Rapid thoughts that were once embraced suddenly dissipating. Maybe it's not too late. Maybe I'm not meant to not be saved. Lord knows I want to be okay. Looking at things differently, God graces her with overwhelming clarity, a glimpse of foresight. Tingling sensations causing the emergence of suppressed shock waves, heart palpitations. This can't be hope. Forgotten feelings rushing through her being, forced to look up and stop searching for meanings, but simply be in the moment. She can't even feel the tears streaming. Floating, she looks down at her former self, believing now all that was said as a child, all that was directed to her by professional strangers and caring passerbys. There is a way out. Opening her eye to an open mind, bravely stepping towards the unfamiliar light, the unknown no longer frightens her. Clenching the hands of hope, she glides, pacing her steady strides to admire a new world unfolding. There's beauty in everything. Reborn. Revelations revealing a righteous path to a beautifully serene source of this peaceful feeling. Begin being. Begin being. Begin being.
That was a very beautiful poet. Thanks for sharing with us. It means really a lot to me, especially. So what, thinking about this old poetry and how you narrate them, and I'm not good at arts. That's not my specialty. But I want to ask you, what inspires you to write a poetry?
A lot. Just a side note.
Yeah.
I believe everyone's got a creative gene in them, so you might not know that you're good, but there's something there.
Okay. Thank you.
But yeah, inspires me personally. From the young age, it is all internal kind of conflicts or reasonings, and I can't vocalize it, so I just choose to write it down.
Mm-hmm.
But as I get older, what's been the main inspiration is, it's more of an internalizing introspection, looking inwards, and healing. Healing oneself and others, but things around me. Family is quite a big inspiration. Day-to-day life experiences, things that happen out of the blue, society, injustices or celebrations, dreams. You know, there's so much. It's like everything, basically, but also nothing, because there could be moments of just peace, and you're so in tune with something higher than yourself that you just gain inspiration from literally nothingness. So it's a bit of everything.
It's a collaboration of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a collaboration.
So talking about everything, I know you've got an entity.
Infinite entity. Yeah.
Infinite entity. And I know you support a lot of positive movements.
Yeah. But your homework.
Yes. I want to ask you, what inspires you? Because it's not normal for someone to always be this positive. I'm sure you've been through a lot in life and learned and come back as a phoenix.
Yeah.
But what inspires you the most? And I know Abraham Brook is one of your favorites. I really want to know more about that.
Yeah.
And more about infinite entity and how it started and where it's leading and where do you see your future with that one.
There's a lot.
Altogether.
Yeah, it's a lot. And you're right, infinite entity, in regards to being positive all the time, like you said, my nature is, I'm quite a happy person. Again, I do believe everyone has that source. It's like an infinite source within, but you have to we're very much distracted and numbed by a lot of things in the world. So sometimes it can be hard to find that, but everyone has it. I just happen to be naturally more on that side. So it looks like I'm always happy, but it's just the energy. But so always support positive movements. Yeah. I have my moments where I'm not positive too, or things happen and I have to go in my shell, and I probably am the complete opposite of how I am now. The infinite entity came as a vision. It came as a vision, I think it was 2011, after, it was like a phoenix moment. So after quite a struggle, a bit of suffering, it came through pain. But I saw, it was like hopeful, and it was a vision where I could just see so much happening, and it wasn't just me, it was like friends and family that could get involved and create stuff and connect the dots. And then because I naturally was the person that would support people, the slogan ASPM, always supporting positive movements, like you said, it just came out as well. And it's evolving as a way to brand myself, one, as an artist, but also as like an umbrella community company. I don't know how to sum it up. Just a being where everything I do falls under it, but also everything that I see others doing can collaborate. So the ultimate vision, one main element of Infinite Entity that I would love to have is to change the syllabus here in the UK, and God willing the whole world. I really see that as adults, a lot of people are waking up and understanding that we need to have confidence within ourselves. There's a lot of people having self-esteem classes and whatnot. And because I studied psychology at Brunel and college, and even just anyone can have the understanding in psychology where what you condition yourself as a child, it stays with you and it amplifies, it grows as you get older. So if as adults we're going to self-esteem classes, then it only makes sense as children to have it in the school system. So in the syllabus we should have things that help a child look inwards and to find strength within themselves. And I believe creative writing or some form of creativity helps a child to gain confidence, because it's something they've made and they can be proud about it. They can walk more confidently. They can be unique as well. So one element I would love to, it's very difficult in the UK, I'm pretty sure maybe every establishment is very difficult to change.
At the first when you start
to get into the system is very, very hard to change it, because they're very regimental. But I would love for Infinite Entity to go into schools, have a team of people to set up classes where we can look at each child individual and heighten their natural gift.
Amazing.
And it helps them speak more confidently, and they'll carry it with them for life instead of having to learn at a later stage to love oneself. So that's one element, but just my inspirations as well. You did Abraham Afwerki, like he was such a, and I have to be very honest, because I wasn't really Eritrean growing up.
That's okay.
I was like a mixture of everything.
You did catch up also.
I caught up when he passed, so I didn't I remember at college.
Sorry to hear that.
I know, one of my friends was like, Abraham Aforki's dad. I was like, who's this guy? Like, you know,
Yeah.
even though I have family members who were friends with him, my granddad, you know, people knew him in my family, as with, I'm sure, a lot of families, because we're a big family, being Eritrean.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then as I got older, I would listen to his music, and even though, like, but when I would listen to his words and hear the lyrics or ask, you know, it's so pure, and it comes from, that's how you know he was destined for that, and that's very inspirational, let alone his actual art and the mastering of so many instruments. He had amazing talent, so much in one person, but the fact that it was so pure, and that it just shows that when you do what you're supposed to do, it's so pure that it validates.
It resonates.
Yeah, it resonates as well.
Yeah.
You're on the right path
agree.
because it's so pure. Yeah. So it was a major inspiration in regards to respecting art and appreciating for pure source.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of inspirations for even myself as an artist, a spoken word artist, or even for the foundation of Infinite Entity as well. I did listen to a lot of Lauryn Hill during that time.
Yeah.
I love Tupac. My older brother has a wide range of music taste, as well as myself. And my dad was in a band, so we used to, you know, we had music all the time, you know.
Amazing.
My mum used to want to be a singer. So there's a lot of things that inspired me to make this.